only have one preset for Converge. It's the Kurt preset version 6, and this thing is a full stereo rig. So let me walk you through this.
Yeah.
So we have the input. We've got the auto impedance detection. So the highest impedance seems to work best for my guitars. There is a very light gate built into that, followed by a fuzz that I'm not really using on this tour. And then I actually have two gates. So I have a gate here, followed by a like Centaur style distortion, and then another gate. The gates are switched. Oh wait, they're not. Oh, that explains why I'm having feedback problems. I gotta fix that. So these two gates are supposed to switch together.
Oh. What's the idea behind that? Just almost like.
So the gate before the distortion, you have the full dynamic range of the guitar, causing the key of the gate to open, and then the gate after the distortion, the dynamic range of the signal is much smaller after distortion. So that gate is inherently less sensitive. So basically the gate before stops feedback from happening, the gate after kills the noise. So I'm gonna have to fix that after our rig rundown. Followed by a pitch effect. So I used to use Boss PS3 for this pitch effect. It's an octave up and octave down. I use that on sections like the chorus of Reap What You Sow, the intro to the Converge song Plagues. And the thing that's unique about this octave up and down is it mimics what the Boss PS3 does, where the octaves are subtly delayed. I think just probably due to the nature of that, like early 90s DSP technology, they had quite a bit of latency. So I have latency built into these octaves. So like if you like chug with that setting, well here, let me just chug with that setting. It's kind of got a bit of an offset, and it's a thickener.
Now, did you get that idea from Steven? Because I know that he kind of does the up and down with the PS stuff.
Steve uses the PS3 on a different mode than me. His is the glissando mode, where it like goes like.
It almost sounds like a Floyd getting.
Yeah, and mine is like a fixed octave up, octave down. Then we've got ping pong, which turns on delay, a stereo delay and stereo reverb at the same time.
Can we hear that?
Sure.
Just in the stereos? Yeah. Since we have the stereo.
And because I only use one preset for our whole set, I just have the delay set to tap. So I should have tapped that first. I have the ping pong reverb, which is being switched together next to the pitch mode, so that I can do those at the same time when I do it properly. That's a little lick that I use for that one. Followed by, let's see, I got searchlights as if I need to do any like space rock stuff. I don't do that in this set at all. All right, so here's where I think, where I get to the stuff about Helix that I really, really like is in this, the second and third row blocks.
Okay. So
now we move down to the next row, and I have, we'll come back to this stuff over here, this loop stuff. So I've got two different amp models. I'm using like a diesel on the left side and an Archon on the right side. Those are just amp blocks and there's no IRs as part of those blocks. So then it goes to some 1/4 inch sends. So now we've got amp sim, but no IR, that goes out 1/4 inch send to amps on stage, the power amp in of these quilters over here. I'm using the Quilter Overdrive 202s. For some reason, there's something like interesting about how the effects loops are wired in these, that you have to dummy plug the effects in to get the full strength of the power amp. And it's like a thing that is just inherent in the design that Quilter knows about. The Overdrive 200 wasn't like that. I'm not sure why they changed the design, but for some reason they did. But these things are totally bulletproof. You know, again, like I can take these anywhere in the world, put any voltage into them. I've played shows with these at noon on a 100-degree day in Austin, Texas, with the sun beating directly down on top of them, and they didn't miss a beat. Like, they're indestructible and they sound great. And if my Helix went down, I'd be totally happy plugging into the input of one of these things and getting my sound that way, because the preamps sound great too.
Or like as we're talking before off camera, the Daytona 500 too. You know, in the sun. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, they don't care. Like, they're basically indestructible, and extremely portable. So
Fit in a gig bag.
yeah, I love that. We've got these 1/4-inch sends that go to the quilters, followed by some IRs that I've kind of cooked up on my own. That are not actually ones that I created in my studio, but existing IRs that I've like
Tweaked.
To my liking. Channel 2. So let me just show you the whole channel 2 path here. So this is my right side. So this is the side that gets panned to Nate's side. I've got a few things. I've got a mute switch and a looper. So the looper is like a phrase sampler type of looper, and it's this is like their one button mode. So when I go to, well, let me show you a thing, right? So we've got this song that we're playing on this tour called "I Have a Quarrel," and it starts out with me playing a little guitar lick. I start looping it, and then I overdub me playing another part over the loop. And so when I start the overdub, I hit the mute switch. So now I'm muting the signal going into the looper, so that the channel 2 is playing only the loop, and channel 1 is playing only what I'm doing live. So that goes like.
Now, are you doing a lot throughout the set, or is that just specific to that song? Because I know that
No.
you guys have toured with 2 guitar players before, so like
It's been a while.
Yeah,
but
so I don't know if that was
I don't-
kind of making up for the 2 guitar.
I don't do a lot of that. I'm not very good at looping. I screw it up a lot.
Leave that to Mike from Russian Circles.
Oh, and then one other thing on channel 2 is I've got another pitch block over here, which is just a simple pitch, subtle delay and detune. So 8 cents flat and 14 milliseconds delayed for channel 2. That's always on, and that is so that provides like a stereo widening. That's not a chorus, so it's not modulating. It's just like it's a stereo widener, and that happens only. I feel like that stuff when you hear it in mono, like 2 cabs right next to each other on a stage, sounds a little bit weird and chorusy, but spread out in a venue's PA system, it makes things nice and wide and opens up a hole in the center channel for everybody else to live in. Otherwise, there'd be, even though I'm using 2 different amp models and 2 different IRs, there still would be a very strong phantom center channel coming from the guitar signal.
Yeah.
And basically, kick, snare, bass, vocals, all that stuff's coming from the center channel. So there's a lot of competition in the center channel. And if I can get myself away from that and open up space for everybody else, the mix can be louder and clearer.